two co-founders.
Co-founders.
Okay.
Nooch. Okay.
Perfect. So we don't mispronounce it as we're.
Okay.
Let's start.
Yes.
Okay. My first intro. Welcome to the new season of my mom's favorite podcast, Poppin' Bubbles, where we spotlight impact-driven businesses by showing you a little bit behind the scenes. I'm your host, Lisa.
My name is Stefan, and today I'm joined with...
Oh, I come in here already?
Yeah, you come in here.
Okay, no, my name's Lotte Mulder, and I'm one of the two co-founders at Nooch.earth. And do you want to know what that is already?
Nooch? Well, of course we want to know what that is.
I want to know everything
but
about
I
it.
first would like to wonder, what is the name Nooch? Does it have any significant meaning?
It does. I'm glad you pronounce it correctly. We've had Nooch or nose or
Nooch.
Yeah, so all kinds of pronunciations. But Nooch is actually, it's like a urban slang for nutritional yeast.
Oh.
And it's a cooking ingredient, but one that vegans often use as like a cheese flavor.
It's
like
very
an umami
cheesy.
Replacement. Yeah.
Instead of like Parmesan and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
So maybe then you can tell us a little bit about what Nooch does. Nooch.
Yeah. No.
We'll get there.
That's my fault. I gave you all kinds of options now.
We'll get there eventually. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So we produce fully plant-based, planet-safe, ethically produced and collectively produced footwear.
It's a big mouthful.
Yeah, I'm like trying to count in my head. Okay, this and that and that. Okay, this is a lot. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. How does one even come up with an idea of starting something like this?
It's not one point in time, really. It is it all came together at some point. So I actually studied at art school and I did advertising and realized luckily very quickly on that I am not into selling stuff. So
that seems like that would be an issue when you have your own business.
It's kind of an issue now. It is actually, but it's no. I didn't want to create like advertising for useful and useless stuff. So during that time, I decided to do my my final project for a footwear company. And I just got in touch, like, okay, is this possible? And they actually gave me, since I had no experience in footwear whatsoever, but they said, oh yeah, cool, that's a good idea, let's do that. So that was the starting point for footwear, and I then rolled into footwear and hopped some jobs for a while. After that, I got burnt out, which is another story, but had some reasons connected to what I'm doing now. And that was the time that we also moved to Spain. So my husband and I just became a mother then. So I had a little one, a year and a half old. And we moved to Spain and to live like this off-grid life, completely like in balance with nature. We had solar panels, like water from the mountain.
Oh wow!
And yeah, like really
I feel
off-grid.
Like this is everyone's dream.
Yeah, you just described it, and I'm imagining the scenery, and I'm like, I want to be there right now.
Everybody just wants to leave, society and go and live somewhere.
Yeah, it did. It really felt like that. Yeah. Do you know that song by Eddie Vedder? He did the music for Into the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a whole CD, but he has a song about society and not missing it and hope. Yeah, so that it really felt like that.
That
We're
was
leaving
life.
everything behind. Yeah. So that was also like a really big part of what Nooch became eventually, because we had to live like more in balance with nature. We had our own garden. We grew vegetables and everything. We had a composting heap and thought about what we should do with our manure, like the human manure as well, because we had guests and we collected all of that. So it makes you think about what balance is in nature. So that was a big part of it as well. And then there was one conversation that we had with, they were actually friends. They lived quite nearby, and they had like an ecological dairy farm. And I got to talking with him about, because he was really proud to tell me that the calves that they had on their farm, that they were allowed to stay there like for 2 weeks. I was like, 2 weeks? What's the normal amount of time then that a calf gets to stay with the mom? He says, no, normally it's like less than 24 hours. I was like,
wow.
That's sad.
That's really like a harsh fact, right? Yeah. And so that was, for me, the moment that I made the switch from being a vegetarian to going vegan. And once sort of those, what's the word? Oogkleppen? The blinders. Yeah. Those came off. So I went like into this rabbit hole of just getting information. And like went into a big depression because it's horrible what you see then. But it also sparked for me like, okay, I want to be part of this. I want to do something. And then it all came together. So my experience in footwear, how we live with nature, and also veganism. And that was like the beginning of it.
I mean, isn't it that Steve Jobs that talks about connecting the dots, but you can only connect them in retrospect backwards, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
It seems like everything kind of...
That's precisely what happened, yeah.
and footwear, how did you, like, was it by chance, or did you already have something with footwear before you even started to get into footwear?
It was by chance, really. Yeah, I did have an interest sort of like fashion and what that does with people, but not, I wasn't into shoes or anything. I was like not this Imelda Marcus, like I didn't have a closet full of shoes or anything. No, it was nothing like that. But I did like the 3D aspect of designing something. So where advertising, what I was studying was really like 2D, and it's all about concepting and eventually having like a print or like a video, advertising, a commercial. This was something that you could hold. And also the thing that I liked most about it is that it's something that people really have to, they need them. Like shoes is pretty, you can do barefoot as well, but it's it's something like that we all use and need.
Yeah, of course.
Are you considering making the barefoot shoes?
Yes. It's already in the pipeline.
I figured it, but it feels
the connection is there already.
A natural transition into
Yeah, exactly. So now I would love to do that. But yeah, let's get this on the road first. But that's definitely like a second project. Yeah.
And so where does the nutritional yeast come into the story then?
It was just like the name. I thought it sounded
It's
good.
not related to the shoes?
It's not, no.
There's no nutritional yeast?
No,
these are nutritional
there is not.
yeast-free shoes.
It's actually like...
that should be in that like pipeline of like sustainably made.
You actually don't want that connotation right between cheese and feet. It's like, no.
That's not a great look or smell.
So no reason. But it does have that, it sounds a bit like new as well. And so... And
no,
it has,
great.
I don't know what the word is, but it's a nice sound as well. It's soft.
It's soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's about the emotion that you get from saying the word.
Yeah. So, okay, sustainable shoes. How does one make a sustainable shoe?
That depends if you want to do like truly sustainable or if you want to do sustainable.
Okay.
Quotation marks. Sustainable.
Quotation, air quotes.
Air quotes.
Yeah, for the people just only listening, right? Yeah.
We did air quotes right there.
Yeah, there's two types, definitely two types of sustainable. There's the real sustainable version, and then there's the one that is like, if there is a brand of footwear doing sustainable shoes already, I can bet you that 95% of those aren't really sustainable. They will use a material that is a little bit more sustainable, or they will focus on the product, but there are not many that look at the full chain or really do a deep dive into the materials and try to do everything correctly. And then, of course, it's like the chain, also the production of the footwear.
Of course.
Yeah, which is a big part.
Because before you started Nooch, I'm gonna struggle with this the whole recording.
That's my fault. I'm sorry. You did so well the first time, and then I messed you up.
You worked for a bunch of years in the designing footwear, but also for other brands.
Yes.
So, like, what did you learn from that time? Like, how was sustainability already something that was being factored in, or what is the main driver when designing a shoe? Let's call it in the old world.
Yeah. Money. Money was a big thing. So that's something that was very clear immediately, that when with negotiations as well, that people were trying to get the production price of a shoe down like 5 cents or something. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. That was, those icks that you get, like, I don't know if this is like a fit with me and my values. And so there were a lot of those actually. And also I remember I went to China once actually with one of the companies, and that we were sitting in this little office with the big boss of the footwear factory discussing these things, like, okay, how can we get things 1 cent down? And it just felt wrong, because I was looking through the glass to the floor, seeing people doing like this mindless work, days on end, and something clicked. Couldn't let it go anymore.
Don't want to be driven by profit or
absolutely not.
Cost margins.
Yeah.
And what do people do to get the price of shoes down? Is it then like worse materials or like cheaper labor, or
something, of course, when you have these negotiations, those happen inside that office, and then the people doing the negotiations like to think that, okay, wow, I've put it down 10 cents, for example. But what really happens is that production doesn't really happen in that factory where you are. So it's like moved backward into another province. So maybe a family with a garage will do the stitching in their garage with no supervision. They will use horrible glues. There will be children involved. So there's a lot of stuff that sort of people actually know about these things, but it's easier to just put those blinders on.
Of course, especially when there is such a I think we discussed it also a few times before about consumer behavior, where people just want to buy, for example, a shoe. In Netherlands, I think it's better, at least from like what I also read a bit. In general, the sustainability related behavior is a bit better on average in Netherlands than in other European countries. But if you look at people, it's like they want to buy shoes, they want to look for a cheapest option, and then they're going to be like, I don't really care, what happens. Don't really think. They do know, I agree with you, but they just like close their eyes and they're like, it's fine, it's just a shoe.
Oh, yeah. It's just me.
Yeah, I'm just 1 person.
People. That's the real. Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, it is. And also speed is a big part of it. People are so used to, and they sort of expect their order to be in like a day later, or
because
it's difficult for people to wait.
Yeah, and I think that's what we also, when we were looking into Nooch.
We're gonna stay there.
We saw that the system works with a pre-order, right? So you have to get a specific amount of orders in before you can get the shoes done, right? Yeah. So I'm guessing that's also for this, not overproduce and just deliver it to people.
I thought it was a really innovative idea. I mean, I guess people don't really want to wait, but at the same time,
it's this is one of the things that for me is the biggest change almost, not even the materials, because I think a lot of brands could, the shoe in itself is quite easily, you can copy it, and that's good. I have no problem with people doing also a biodegradable shoe or planet safe shoe, because we need more of those. But the whole way that we have built our little system at the moment is like really innovative, and we're pioneering in that sense.
Because I also thought I read something about how you do like trying on the shoes. Do you was it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you like send the pair over and then you ask the person to send it over to someone else if they want to try it on?
That's also something that we're thinking of. Yeah, we have a lot of these like ideas that we want to try and see what works best, because it's difficult because we don't have a physical store, but people often with shoes especially you want to see them on your feet. You want to feel what they
because I feel like that is. Also, when you're thinking about the transporting of stuff, I mean, I don't think it is the main problem in the shoe chain, but still, if you order something and you don't like it or you can't try it on, you send it back and it goes in a box and then it goes back and it needs to be rehandled and reboxed.
Oh, it's such a big problem. Yeah, you know all about it. The whole, but it's such a big issue in fashion as well. Yeah. Yeah, true. So what we actually do is we also have, it's not an app, but you can use the tool online. So you actually scan your feet and we look for the best size so that you can be sure that you receive the correct size and you don't have to order like 2 pairs and then send one back, because that's something that people often do. And there was something else that I wanted to say about this. I forgot.
Maybe we'll come back to you later.
We'll come back.
So you spent a couple years designing shoes for other brands, I guess, and you came to the conclusion that it's a game of money more than it is a game of ethics and sustainability.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And how about like care for I can imagine that shoes are also designed for like an aesthetic reason rather than a functional reason. Is that also something that you...
What's the question exactly?
Well, do you feel like that do costs factor into like how a shoe is constructed in terms of like how good it is for your foot?
I think that depends more on the company. That some are focused on performance, and others are just there to provide a lifestyle, like a fashion item.
Looks good.
Yeah. But there's different levels of of course within the factories you have the top tier factories that do the bigger brands, and then you have the lower tiers, and then they will have the really cheap stuff. Yeah. There's not much price difference, though. Just to be,
it's all branding.
It's the same factory, and then the second there's like a brand name appearing on the shoe, I feel like the price suddenly goes up.
Especially with the luxury brands, those factories aren't that different from what other brands use. Yeah.
And you already mentioned this pioneering of the system. So not only focusing on one part of the process of creating the shoe, but basically the whole supply chain. Could you talk us through it? Because we keep like touching on like, okay, the materials part, the production part. But if I want to order a shoe, let's say I want to order a shoe, I'm placing an order.
Yeah.
What is the process my shoe will go through to end up at my doorstep?
Okay. Well, where normally you would order a shoe. Are you okay?
Sorry, you had that?
Don't fall the chair.
Yeah. So, okay. Again, well, normally how the system works is that you have a company and they need to put shoes in the shops. So they will go through a whole designing process. They will sort of pre-sell shoes to the shops. They will sort of estimate how many shoes they will need that season, what colors and everything. They get shipped and are in those shops and then are sort of waiting to be bought. We turn the whole system around. So the shoes that you're buying today, they don't exist yet. What we do is we try to provide, Nooch is not even like a brand really, it's more like a container. We get people together, and once we have enough people, or that we know how many people are joining for that round actually, then we start the production process, because then we can calculate exactly how many outsoles will we need, what square feet of material. We make a reservation for the factory to have production take place and everything, and then they get shipped and sent to you. But of course, that takes a mindset change from people.
Yeah, and also
and patience.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like kind of a crowdfunding every single batch, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
And I feel like, if I'm thinking about it, it's pretty bold to do, because I believe one of the things why companies like to work with orders and estimations is because then they have a steady stream of orders coming in, and you sign the contract and you're like, okay, you're going to buy this much from us, and then every month it comes in. And now it feels like for you it might be more like people have to sign in, and then is it you pay right away once you make the order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
But then like you get a big batch, and then you have to wait for the next batch, and there's less stability in the stream of income.
It's also risk.
Yes. It is. It's we're really trying to sort of reinvent the wheel and make a completely new system. But it is completely different, and it takes a lot out of what I said. Like, you have to have a lot of patience and have to be willing, and in order to do that you have to feel that you are a part of something. That helps. Just in general believing into what you do, into the mission. But I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the people joining. Of course. So it's the thing is that what we've noticed with this group that we have now is that they're super invested. They understand. They are willing to support us. So that comes with that patience and a lot of love and like the community feeling, and so that's the only reason it works, that we have people like that. Because at the end of the day, I think if someone really just wanted a shoe, you can get one anywhere. But it's more than shoes. It's also about just the whole story behind what you can be part of, right? Exactly. And so I get my Nooch shoe. Nooch shoe. I might have to rethink the name. Sorry, I think we're ruining this. So I get my shoe, and let's say I'm wearing this every day, and how durable is it? How durable? It's as durable as any other sneaker. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you have like Dr. Martens. They sometimes last, like I've seen pairs that last 10 years. Yeah. Which is great. That's not us. We last like about the same as a regular sneaker. Yeah. With the added bonus that it's not like waste. It's always part of the bigger cycle again. So what happens then when my shoe is at the end of its life? And I know that I really need to get rid of it. What do I do with it? Then you can, like, theoretically, you can put it. You can bury it. You have your own sneaker burial. I'm gonna put like a little send it off there with a little flower and talk. You could.
Because I was reading a piece of research in preparation of this talk, and that is a big issue as well. The end of life of these shoes. Also, reclaiming them is also quite hard.
Yes.
So are you built to reclaim, or would you like people to compost them? No, it's also something that we're learning as we go. What works best, what's best for Mother Nature. And that's always like, she's our true CEO, Mother Nature. So every decision that we make, we run past her. And then every decision becomes quite easy, actually. So for now, we're saying, yes, you can bury them in your own backyard. But of course, not everybody has a backyard. Also a problem. So it could be that later on we install like this program where we take them back, we take care of the composting and regenerate a piece of land with the compost or something like that. Yeah, because the materials are not necessarily reusable, as in like
Some parts are reusable or recyclable. So the material that we make our outsoles of, it's called pliant.
Should we pull them out? Come on.
I have a couple here. Actually, they're in the background. They've blend nicely.
For those who are listening and not watching video, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, you really should put on a video because we have the shoes in the studio.
Yeah, maybe Lotte, you can run us through a bit how this became a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, what
Do you have a minute?
We have all the time.
Well, what are we looking at here? Like
we are looking at one of the sneakers that was one of the first 620 pairs produced ever. And this was the result of something that started 10 years ago. So the whole story that I was telling you earlier about how this all came to be, the first seed is I went back and it's 10 years ago. This is a really long time. And when I first got the idea, I started sourcing like a footwear, the materials, a factory that could help me produce these, and quickly found out that nothing that I needed existed. Oh. So it was a great concept, but it's I couldn't do it yet. So. Which in hindsight was good because it gave me a lot of time to think about the brand, about the name, and also about the design. I really wanted to design something that was timeless. And
I have to say the logo.
Yeah.
Also the logo on your website. It's a little O, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the shoes, they give me a little bit of the vibe that you see with like Vans or whatever.
Yeah.
But like having a cool logo on the side is a really hard thing to do, I think. Like something that's not too bold.
Too out there. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And also like differentiating because everybody seems to have like an S, like New Balance has an N and Nike has their swoosh and stuff like that. But
that's cool that you're seeing all these things that I thought out so long ago. Yeah. So, cool. Thanks. That's, where was I then? Oh yeah. So I had the whole brand, the design, everything ready. And then it was a question of like trying to source these materials. And, I tried quite a few. So every time something came in, I would send it to the factory and have them do like stitching tests or, can you try to, because when a shoe has to be lasted, it needs to stretch a little bit as well, the material. So, that was a long process, and eventually, after quite a while, I came in touch with the company NFW, which was a company, they were the first to create like a fully biodegradable plant-based leather. And they were actually in their startup year by then, so it was like timing, and so we just started doing stuff together. They would send me stuff, I would try it with the factory, and that was like the first time I said, okay, there's a possibility that this might work.
Yeah, because I can imagine that 10 years ago the market for these like sustainable materials looked way different than it does today.
Yeah.
Because we have pineapple leather, we have mango leather.
Yeah.
I was reading about like mycelium leather is also a new thing that they're working on.
Yeah, that's also a very exciting material. That's Now, hopefully, they will also remove the small layer of polyurethane that they put on top for durability, but then I would be happy as well.
Because the outsole, what is it made of?
It's natural rubber, and they put some fillers in. And the reason that this is reusable or recyclable and biodegradable is that they make it slightly less vulcanized than a traditional rubber. Yeah.
And what does that mean? Like, I'm not very...
Yeah, so normally if you use something that's 100% natural rubber, that's very rare that they do that, because usually it's a mix. There's always a lot of plastics that they put in to get the price down as well, but also to create some hardness in the outsole that they prefer for a certain shoe. And with this material, they managed to find a balance in between, like keeping it 100% natural and also having those what's the word I'm looking for?
The qualities?
The eigenschappen?
Properties.
The properties, thank you. Yeah. Of a good outsole. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like that is a thing that I was also reading, that when it comes to making these shoes that are made with these more natural materials, there's always trade-offs, right?
Yes. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So this outsole is indeed a little bit softer than an average outsole. And it will wear down quicker than, for example, like a mountain shoe or
something. Yeah. Exactly.
Or a hiking shoe. That's the word I'm looking for.
This is so gorgeous, by the way. I'm just like, we were talking before we started recording, but it's just like, you look at these shoes and you're like, I want that. Please.
It's just, for me, it's like you would not know that it's not, maybe that's a bad thing to say, but that it's not non-sustainable material.
I fully take that as a compliment. That was that's one of the things that I really wanted, that we could make a shoe that looks like any other sneaker that people would want to wear, but with these properties.
Yeah, that is an actual. You could not tell.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you also said about looking for the right materials, and it took some time to.
Yeah.
Were there any challenges along the way that you think were maybe you thought like, we'll never be able to overcome it? It's not possible.
Those first few years where I received a lot of materials from other startups or people that had been doing this for a long time already. I tried some of that first mycelium leather as well. But they all were just not like up to industry standard. They would rip, or as soon as you put a stitching across it, you could sort of like rip it, or it wouldn't stretch, or it was like it felt dry, it felt stiff. So there was a lot of materials that they just didn't make the cut. Yeah.
And we've come a long way, I think, since then, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because
especially now in the past 3 years, the whole landscape has been changing. Like
and
really
I think
fast.
Big brands are also starting to, but maybe not necessarily the type of materials that you use, but other options to recycle. And there's definitely more traction for the sustainable clothing and footwear market, I think. So this first run, when did you bring out this first run? I think I remember it almost, because it was maybe
like
2 years ago or so, 3 years ago.
It must be 2.5 years ago already, I think. Yeah. No, hold on. This first run. We're now in February. No. It was last year that we delivered these. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm thinking back, because we got in those orders a long time before those people got their sneakers. That's why it was trying to calculate back. I was like, oh my God, how long have these people been waiting? Yeah.
Because I'm curious, because like you were saying, like, okay, you had this path and you saw these things along the way, and then you moved to Spain, and there you saw some more stuff that you thought, what are we doing in this world? Yeah. And then you came back, and then you decided to start Nooch.
No. That was all during Spain already. That's Spain. Actually a funny story, because so we lived in Spain, and we were doing this whole glamping side. We were building our own stuff, and so eventually we had self-built a glamping site, and we built our own earthship to live in. So it was all very cool. And of course, we had guests visiting our glamping site. And one of those guests was actually Stefan Bobbe, who's now my co-founder.
Oh, really?
So that's how we met.
So how did that conversation go then?
I can remember that he was telling us what kind of job he did, and so he was explaining that he had a lot of businesses already, and what types of businesses, and he was into like a purpose. What's the word I'm looking for again? Sorry, I'm stumbling.
Purpose-driven or
purpose-driven, businesses, and also that he had written a book about it with Kees Klomp. And so that's how we got to talking about Nooch, and it started off as like, oh, that's really cool. Let me help you with that. So that he would be like the person in the Netherlands and helping me to maybe connect to people, or trying to work out, okay, how can we make this business work? And eventually, so once the kids got a little bit bigger and we started thinking about, no, actually there was an opportunity to move back, which was at the place where Stefan lived as well. So we became, that was the reason that we eventually could move back. Yeah, we became neighbors there. Yeah, so
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But that was meant to be then, because
absolutely, yeah. It's completely weird because now my husband also he teaches now at a high school, and he teaches their oldest. So, like he's his mentor. So
it's such Earth is such a small place.
It's completely weird. Yeah, well, it's a bit incestuous as well, but it's it's cool.
We talk to all the people who talk here. When we ask how they started, it's always some kind of weird combination of circumstances.
Yeah. I think we were talking to a co-founder of sustainable sport clothing brand.
Yeah.
And he was telling us that he met his co-founder in a gym, I think, or something like they started a conversation in the gym, I think, and that's how they became co-founders.
Just next to each other, pumping some iron.
Flexing some muscles. And like, oh, you look great. Oh, you too. Let's start a brand together.
These plastic shirts. You hate plastic shirts?
Yeah, I also do hate these plastic shirts. Let's do something about it.
Oh, wow.
So because, building a glamping site, I think, is almost an entrepreneurial journey in itself.
Yeah.
Because are you a very entrepreneurial person from the get-go?
I must be. I somehow end up in these weird situations. Yeah. And I think before, during the time that I was working for different footwear companies, that I had sort of designed, I think I was 3 or 4 other brands, companies but then did nothing with them. But yeah, so I'm always like sort of thinking about these projects. Yeah.
So was it then natural for you to start Nooch as in?
Yeah, it's very organic. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to start my own footwear company. It wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, okay, it would be cool if this existed. And then that was like the starting point to get things going.
What was the first year like starting?
This is also quite weird because I don't have like this traditional story. I always hear like people that have to grind and, but we were running that glamping site, and in between cooking for the guests and taking care of clean sheets for the domes, we were, this was my life in between, and this and the kids and everything. So I just took little gaps in my day to work on Nooch.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a lot of work still. I think it's not everybody. It's not for everybody. I think to
no, that's probably true. Yeah.
and so you were how long did you do it kind of on the side then before it really became its
I'm still doing it on the side, really. No, I try to. It's sort of so interwoven into my life that I don't really have like working days, or it's getting a little bit better now, but before. So now my kids are all going to high school, so they cycle to school as well. But before that, I was also their taxi driver, and I had to pick up friends. And then I thought, okay, now they're playing. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 hours to get some stuff done and work during the weekends, or or when they're sleeping. So it's difficult for me to sort of see a pattern in my day, or
Of course, I feel like since the whole idea behind the companies is not something that you just like randomly came up with, because it was so natural and so organic to you and your lifestyle. I think that's exactly why, for you it's just like, it's just part of my life. That's how I do things. And that's great, because then you really are behind the idea of what you do. You really you care so much about it. And that's, I feel like, why others also want to also invest, the community feeling that we're talking about, because they see this drive, they see this idea that you just believe in and you're part of. And
I think that's why they're willing to wait, that they see that exactly. I'm not giving up.
They know you're determined.
Keep going
until you have those shoes at your doorsteps. I'm gonna be going.
Absolutely. No, I'm convinced that a lot of people would have given up like at least 5 times during this whole thing. Do
you talk to a lot of your clients, like one-on-one, or
well, during the so we had a pickup party as well, so we didn't, a few of the sneakers, the people came to us to pick them up, and we had like a sort of moment to get to know each other, which was also very cool, and the like community building idea. And there are people that we email, because we've had to send out so many emails. I'm sorry, it's going to be delayed again. Or, oh, by the way, our supplier went bankrupt. So just the craziest stuff happened.
That
craziest
sounds pretty serious.
Yeah, it was like an ultimate low.
One of those challenges we were talking about when you thought
this was the latest one, the bankruptcy. Yeah, so it's just crazy stuff kept happening, and then we had to email them again, like, oh, I'm so sorry, and they were like, no worries, it's gonna be great. I'm not even in it for the shoes. I just want to support you guys. So
but that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I order something, like for when I go on vacation, we'll book in advance, and then once the vacation comes, you're like, free vacation.
I know.
I already paid.
It feels like a gift, right?
And I feel like this is kind of the same deal, right?
Yeah, like, because you paid in the past. Now you suddenly have the money and the vacation.
Yeah, crazy. You don't even miss it. No. Yeah, correct.
It was already spent.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
So how? I guess that must be hard then if a supplier goes bankrupt. Like how do you deal with that?
How do you recover from that?
Oh wow! So this was the last one. I could maybe, because the one ultimate low before that.
Oh my god!
This is also a story, because it's actually this batch of sneakers. So this was the first batch that we produced, and as I told you, it took such a long time before we could finally produce them and get them to the people. So. We had this big like celebration, just Stefan and I, at the place where we were warehousing them. Like when the truck came in, it was yes, finally they're here, and getting all the shoes in, and we did everything ourselves, right? So all these pairs we had to label and check, and so we put little gifts inside as well. So we had to like open every box of these 620 pairs. Just crazy stuff, but cool. It's you learn a lot from these things, but so we got to sending them out. I think we were at like 250 pairs sent out, and we went back in the next day to keep working on labeling and everything. And then we get a first call in from one of the customers that their eyelet had ripped. So I don't know what happened. I laced up my shoes and my eyelet ripped. And I was like, okay, that's not supposed to happen. So that was like big red flags all over. And so it turned out that during production, they had forgotten the step where they put the reinforcement behind the eyelet stay. So it just crazy stuff. So within 24 hours, we had to sort of go through a depression and then try
all stages of grief.
all stages, yeah.
Oh my god!
And then so and in the end, I think it took us like 24 hours to go through that whole process, get in touch with the factory, work out a solution, communicate to the customers what was happening, and make them the promise that they would get their new sneakers eventually. So all kinds of stuff, yeah.
Just you two, or do you work with other people?
Yeah, this was just the two of us and our family friends that helped us with packing and everything. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, the whole family affair. Everyone packing.
It's a family business.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids were like, okay, we'll open the boxes and you put in the bags. And,
I can imagine. For some reason, in my head, it's like a little conveyor belt. And it's like the kids putting in.
I wish it was a conveyor belt. It was horrible. We had like these pallets and it was stacked like 2 meters high with all these boxes. And then we had to put everything on the floor, open them all up. That's crazy.
Oh my God. But you made it.
We made it.
You made it.
So so that was one of the lows, and then the bankruptcy happened not so long ago, because that was actually the point where we were supposed to go into production for batch number 2. And we kept waiting and waiting. So like, well, what's happening? Why is the material not being shipped to Portugal? Because the material for the outsoles had to be shipped. And the communication was very difficult as well. I couldn't get in touch with people. Nobody knew what was happening. And then in the end, we learned that this was happening to that company. So they just went bankrupt. Everything was frozen. So they had some batches of the material, but nobody could touch it anymore. So we're like, okay, so this again, we had to communicate to the people, sorry, you guys have to wait. And then we went into this whole new sourcing route to find a new material. But this is very difficult because I have such high standards for the material that I cannot switch to just any like, oh, this is like 80% natural. That's not enough. So everything went on hold.
Would you say that you're more sustainable than any other footwear brand out there that's trying to be? I mean, maybe that's maybe you're biased a little bit. I don't know. But like, what? How do you see that other brands that are trying to do something that is very circular, that there's always an element of not sustainable-esque?
What do you want me to answer?
For example,
no, they're not. Yeah, that's a very clear answer for me. But that's also because I have for me, things are very black and white. Okay. I think, okay, you either are or you aren't.
Right.
And if you aren't, you should be completely transparent about what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I feel that part for a lot of brands is like, oh, okay, we're doing like, oh, cool, we're using cactus leather. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to tell everybody that it's only like 20% cactus and the rest is plastics.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I was where was I? Oh, I was in Italy during Christmas, and I think I saw an advertisement somewhere of like a big sneaker company, and they were like, first ever, like our first recyclable shoe, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then there's like a little star next to recyclable, like, and then you look at the bottom, and it's like 52% recyclable, something like that. So, and I'm like, guys.
This is like really, I get so angry of these claims. This claim, especially. What happens is, okay, so any, like a sneaker, for example, there's anywhere between like 20 or 40 components that go in. Sometimes if you get like a Nike with all of these little plastic bits, it can go up to 60 elements or components that go into this shoe. Then they all get stitched together. They use the most amazing glues because they want it to last forever. Everything gets stuck together into this little package, which is almost impossible to take apart again. So what use does it have if you say, okay, it's 52% recyclable? Yeah. How am I going to take that 52% out? How?
Yeah. I was reading that as well in that part of research that's a big problem because you can, part of having be able to recycle it is being able to take it apart. If you can't take it apart,
exactly.
then you just you're stuck with the bad parts as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why those modular shoes I think are better, because then you can at least switch out one component.
And for
or a mono material, which is also, if you choose a mono material plastic, at least you can recycle it.
Yeah, because it's only one thing that just like goes straight into recycling. Okay, yeah.
But recycling, there's also a lot of definitions, right? And usually when they say recyclable, it means downcycling.
Yeah. No, that was also the thing that like the recyclable PET and stuff like that. You're basically moving the problem to a different day.
Exactly. Yeah. So in my definition, circularity, it's if any generation after me has to sort of deal with my problem, then it's not circular.
And the shoes that you've created do not offer this issue. No.
These can just go back into the ground, and I'm always a bit careful with using the biodegradability claim, because legally we cannot claim it, but neither could a tree or a cork with those certifications, because I think it has to sort of biodegrade like 90% in 180 days. I think that's the claim.
That's very fast.
Yes. So by that definition, some plastics are biodegradable, even though they don't really biodegrade. They just they fragment into a million little plastic particles. And we don't have that. We cannot make that claim. But for me, I prefer the term. That's why I prefer the term planet safe instead of biodegradable. I can fully stand behind the claim that there's nothing toxic going into it. The materials that we use are all very clean. They are clean for your body as well, which is good.
That's incredible.
I was wondering what your opinion is on this, because from what I know, the more sustainable materials, they have trade-offs. Maybe they're not as durable as, let's say, a leather.
Yeah.
What is your opinion if you were to have to get a sneaker replaced in a 10-year span, maybe 5 times or so, versus buying one pair of leather shoes that is well constructed and lasts for a long time?
Yeah. Well, for me personally, that is a very easy decision, because with the leather version, there's an animal involved. And I don't want to have anything to do with
dead animals.
Yes, yeah, and everything that comes with it. So all the environmental cost that comes with it, deforestation. There's a lot of issues with animal agriculture. Besides why I am vegan, I'm 100% vegan for the animals. So I do it for them, but there's other issues as well. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's kind of like in terms of quantifying the environmental impact of footwear, right? It's like the $1 million question, like what's better, having to make shoes that you can then that don't have any negative impact, or you buy it once. It's the same with electric cars, they don't use fossil fuels, but you also have to put a lot of stuff in them to make them, and maybe the batteries break faster, right?
True.
And secondhand.
Well, I think maybe for secondhand, also don't buy anything from leather secondhand, but no, maybe it's just as with the food system with this, because you need a lot of plants to go into a cow to get a little piece of meat, where plants, if you use them directly, you can serve a lot more people. And I think it's the same with these materials. So to create leather, you have to use an immense amount of resources to go into that cow or snake or whatever. Yeah. Snake is a bad example, but like alligators, I think they farm as well for their leather. Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for Nooch?
What's next? Well, the next big thing for me is to get to a stage where we can go completely steward owned. it means that, well, we're already like an independent company. We own like 50%. But so instead of getting investments through an investor and having shareholders, we want to make the company from everybody, like all stewards, also to protect our mission and safeguard it.
Yeah, as far as I understand, it's like also a legal structure that kind of safeguards the mission regardless of what other people feel is right.
And you make them part of your decision making as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that if someone ever were to claim maybe just a little bit of plastic.
Exactly.
A little bit of plastic.
Which probably would have happened if we had gone for the investment route. I think if we had done that, Nooch would have died like 9 times already, because the time frame would have been an issue, and all of these trade-offs they would have pushed probably for, okay, we need those sneakers now, you need to sort of choose something else. And now I could really stay 100% true to the values that I put on this brand. Yeah,
staying true to yourself. That's I think one of the biggest takeaways. Just whatever you do, you kind of need to stay true to yourself, right?
Lotte is Nooch, or is Nooch is Lotte?
That's a philosophical question.
No, I hope it's not mine anymore in the end. It's part of me, but I hope that we get to a stage where it's part of everybody that's involved, also the stewards and the whole collective, and that we, what I said, I hope we become that container instead of like this lifestyle brand, which is, the more I think about it, it's like a really old-fashioned way of consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice one to kind of round it off on. Huh?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Lotte. It was a pleasure.
De nada.
It was really nice to hear your story, and I really love the shoes.
I hope I didn't come off as too extreme.
No, not at all. I'll probably leave an order for a shoe.
Okay, good.
because I really
to that.
I really love the shoe.
She will be monitoring the.
Like, where is she?
Where is Lisa?
All right.
Thanks,
shall we close it off?
Shall we close it off? Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. It was my mom's favorite podcast, Poppin' Bubbles.
Yes, and don't forget to follow us online. And if you liked this story that Lotte shared with us today, and you're curious about other organizations that have the same type of stories, then stick around for the next time.
Stick around and find out.
And don't forget to order shoes next round.
Check out Nooch.
Check out Nooch.earth. Hey, I'm selling.
Please do. I work in sales. I completely understand.
See you guys.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yay!
That was great.
We could keep going.